This is One on One. We're coming to you from the Tisch WNET studios right here in the heart of Lincoln Center, New York City. You do not have to be a Yankee fan. You do not have to be a baseball fan to appreciate our two guests and the work that they are doing right here on Broadway. Fran Kirmser and Tony Ponturo are the producers of the Bronx Bombers, playing at the Circle in the Square beginning in early 2014. Now, the Bronx Bombers, right? Yankee fan, right? But 1977, set 1977, little thing, let's say, between then manager Billy Martin and the shy and retiring Reggie Jackson.
There you go.
Right? But it doesn't have to be just for baseball fans, right?
No, not at all.
Set the scene.
Fran, why don't you set the scene?
Well, in 1977, Reggie Jackson was pulled out of a game on national television. And you saw it, huh? Yeah.
Like everyone else, I saw that, right?
Right. And so this kicks off the story where these gentlemen are trying to figure out how to work as a team. And the play goes from Babe Ruth to Derek Jeter and looks intergenerationally at all of these great players and really the individual versus the team. And it's so relevant to now. We're in such a you Inc. society. And how does that fit into working together as a team? And that's really what the evening is about.
So it's interesting because it isn't just about that period of time with the Yankees. It's about other people, and those of us who are big Yankee fans. Neil Shapiro, who was just here earlier taping, our president of WNET, huge Yankee fan. I know he's going to like this play. We talk about this all the time. Back in the day, in the 60s, there were people like Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, and others, Yogi Berra. But you go all the way back, you mentioned Babe Ruth. Lou Gehrig is in this. And I'm thinking, how do you put all these other Yankees together, and what does that have to do with the craziness of the late 1970s in the Yankees? What's the connection?
Well, once you create that conflict, now Yogi Berra is he's got a dilemma.
By the way, you put Carmen Berra, Yogi's wife, in it.
Well, there's behind every great man, there's a great woman, or so they say, right?
Yes.
So I think, but so now Yogi's like he has 10 championships. He's about the Yankees, 18 years as a Yankee.
There it is.
And he just doesn't know what to do. He needs help. So he comes home to Carmen. He goes to bed. Of course, the magic of theater. He has a dream that calls in all of these Yankee greats to say, what is it about being a Yankee? Why did we win 27 championships? Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig didn't necessarily get along. Joe DiMaggio and Mickey Mantle had their friction from time to time.
DiMaggio was not that gracious, let's just say,
No.
when Mickey came in as a young guy. Go ahead.
Exactly. And then you also have Derek Jeter as well, who also had the benefit of 4 championships in 5 years in the late 90s up to 2000. So he brings them all together in the dream to really talk about this. We were all, great players. We all have strong personalities, but we all have to come together on the field to be a great team. And so that's the story we want to sort of tell.
I'm thinking about this because I said in the beginning that it isn't really just for baseball fans, right? Say someone isn't into the Yankees, which, that's hard for me to believe. Say they're a Met fan. Is it for someone who is a Met fan?
Absolutely, absolutely. Really, this is about relationships, and we all can relate to that. How these men interact, how they focus up on the game, how they are on the field, how they are off the field, and how they are with each other, and we all have that. And really, when we took a look at the Yankees and why are they the greatest team? Why have they won the most championships? Perhaps because they function like a family. Sometimes
a dysfunctional family, I was going to say.
We all have them, but when it comes down to it, on the field, they step up. Right? They come through for each other, and that's what's exciting. I'm
sorry for interrupting. It's so interesting because I think about Thurman Munson, the great Thurman Munson, who we lost in that horrific plane crash. He wasn't easy to get along with. For people who really, know something about the Yankees, or you listen to folks who know him, he wasn't all that easy. But he did have a way of making it clear that they were all in this thing together. They were really all in this thing together, and you had to sublimate, if you will, your ego, the thing that you wanted to accomplish in order to accomplish something greater. And sometimes those were statistics that you had to, put to the back burner. No, am I missing something
No,
here?
you're absolutely right. And, you know, and we'd have to sort of take ourselves back to that time. Think about it. Reggie Jackson had just won 3 championships with the Oakland A's.
Yeah, right.
He was the man. He comes to the Yankees. They hadn't won in 15 years. So he's like, okay, I understand the Yankees, but what have you done lately? And they had gone into the World Series in '76, but they lost. So they still hadn't had a championship since '62. And so now, and Munson was promised by George Steinbrenner to be the highest paid Yankee, and all of a sudden he looked around and said, oh, that's not happening.
And that's Reggie being
And Francois
Reggie and Billy.
Baptiste just
Unbelievable.
By the way, tell everyone who's who here.
Francois Baptiste, the actor, is playing Reggie Jackson, and Keith Nobbs in the cowboy hat and leather jacket is playing
Billy Martin. Got it.
And so this is the first act where they come together in the hotel room in Boston the morning after this incident, where Yogi's trying to say, okay, we all have to come together or this thing's all going to explode.
By the way, this is the morning after Billy pulled Reggie Jackson out of, he literally, in the middle of an inning, I mean, this doesn't happen in baseball, he pulled him out of right field. And Reggie's like, wait a minute, you're pulling me out of a nationally broadcast game. You want me to walk, run into the dugout? For those of you who don't realize how embarrassing it is, Reggie gets into the dugout. He's on the dugout steps. They're not even letting him in. He's on the steps, and Billy's right up against it. Billy was crazy in some ways. They're screaming and yelling at each other, and there was almost a physical confrontation, no?
Yeah, there was almost a physical confrontation, and this first scene of the play is a fictional meeting the next day in a Boston hotel room where Yogi's trying to bring them all together and address what happened. So you see how each of them feels. You don't need to know exactly what happened on the field.
That's
you can
not about
learn it,
baseball.
and right.
That's not, and by the way, women, and by the way, I'm not saying women don't like baseball, but for a woman who says she's not into baseball, she's into relationships.
Absolutely, and we've got Carmen Vera, which is such a wonderful vehicle for us to learn about the relationship between Yogi and Carmen, and really the two of them usher us through this whole evening. And because we were looking at the Yankees really as a family, Carmen and Yogi were an example of a family and a unit, and they are still such a beautiful unit to this day. I mean, you're a Jersey guy, you know, they are just, you know, a staple
Actually,
in New Jersey.
same hometown in Montclair. They're just like
unbelievable.
This.
Unbelievable.
And that's not just media stuff. They are really together.
Yep.
You know, the other thing I'm thinking all the way back for people who, again, you don't have to be a Yankee fan. You don't have to be a baseball fan. But people who really understood the thing between Mickey Mantle and Roger Maris, 1961. What's so amazing is that during that whole year when both of them were chasing the baseball record, the home run record, they were roommates with each other. Mm-hmm. They had a close relationship with each other. They had a brotherhood, even though they really conducted themselves, let's say, very differently off the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was not about baseball.
No. No, it was about brotherhood, and it was about, you know, the pressures of being a ball player and the pressures of competing like that. I mean, it's just, I don't think we realize what that means to get up there every day, to have to perform, to have 30,000, 40,000,
to be booed.
To be booed.
To be rejected.
You know, what if we all had that in our everyday life? And we probably do to some degree. Yeah. You know, it's just not as loud. Yeah. So, and then, you know, and of course, Mickey, who's probably was one of the most amazing natural athletes, but gets injured early in his career, you know, ends up having these complications, which I believe in that year, he sat out probably the last 25 or 30
That's right.
games.
So he could not hit home runs. Let me ask you, because this is a series. This isn't the only sports-related work that you've done. We had Dan Lauria actually sitting right here many, many months back, who started in Lombardi, right? Let's put Lombardi in context. Lombardi was a play about?
Play was about leadership. And when we started this series...
Vince Lombardi.
Right. It was about Vince Lombardi, the life of Vince Lombardi, and really the life of a man who got people to do things that they didn't think they could do. And we imagineered this sports series at a time where we just came off of the financial crash. It seemed like we all, you know, every day got a phone call from a friend, a relative, I've lost my job, and it just was such a difficult time. We thought, what do we want to put on stage? The theater is such a wonderful vehicle to explore the things that are going on around us, and so we wanted to start off with this great leadership. We heard the speeches of Vince Lombardi, so wonderfully delivered by Dan Lauria when we went to do the play. But it's not whether you fall down, it's how you pick yourself up off the ground. Right. And we started with that. When you talked about brotherhood, we then went on to do Magic Bird, which was about competition and rivalry. Do you step on
Larry Bird and Magic Johnson competing against each other starting in college and then in the pros. intense rivalry, but this very close brotherhood.
Yeah, and before all of the technology and 24-hour news, they would literally get the paper and look at the box score and see what the other one did. I mean, they just kept driving each other, and then over time, then of course when Magic announced that he had HIV, I believe in 1991, I mean, Larry and, well, the whole community, the whole world was devastated. And if you watch the game that night that Larry Bird played, it's magical, literally, in how he gave honor to his friend Magic
He loved
Johnson.
Magic Johnson.
He really did.
He still does.
Well, and I know
But I'm sorry.
No, talk about opening night.
You know, the most breathtaking thing happened opening night, which if you were there, you could have seen it. But there was a curtain call, and the two gentlemen got on stage with the cast. And Magic.
Hold on. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird got on stage?
Yeah.
They got on stage with the cast at the curtain call opening night, and Magic started to when the applause died down, Magic started to talk about their relationship, and he got choked up, and he started to cry. And Larry, who is, anyone who knows about him, pretty removed,
Yeah, he won't give it up.
and stepped forward and completely took over for him and told the story of how they met and how they had this fierce competition and how it developed into this friendship and this real love. And in that moment, he was taking care of Magic Johnson. And it was, I mean, I'm getting teary just thinking about it. It was a beautiful, beautiful moment.
That's not about basketball, is it?
No.
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 And that's, you know, going back to, you don't have to be a baseball fan, you don't have to be a Yankee fan. When people came to see Lombardi, you know, we had women, we had men say, you know, particularly women say, I've heard Vince Lombardi's name. I had no idea what he really did. I don't really like football, but I love the story it told. And Dan Lauria would say, you know, if people walked out of the theater saying, that triggered me to think a little differently about my life, then we did a good job. And that's really what we try to do in all this work.
You know, I'll tell you, when we started doing one-on-one from right here in Lincoln Center, one of the great things when we started it and when it continues to be a great thing is that you bring people in from the theater community who are doing this kind of work, who are moving people to think about the world and think about themselves in the world in a very special way. And I want to thank you for being a part of that discussion. So do you mind if I plug again?
Absolutely.
Okay. The Bronx Bombers is being seen at Circle in the Square Theater on West 50th Street. Open January 10th. This show will be seen and before and after. I want to thank both of you for coming in. Fran and Tony, wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And give Dan Lauria our best.
We
He's one
will.
of our favorite
We will.
guests. Okay?
Okay.
Great stuff. Stay tuned from the Tisch WNET studios right here in the heart of Lincoln Center. I'll be right back right after this. Thank you very much.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System. Funding has been provided by Hackensack University Health Network, NJ Best, New Jersey's 529 College Savings Plan, TD Bank, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group, Cone Resnick, and by PSE&G. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been made possible in part by Celgene.